All right, let's be real. You type real estate investing into YouTube and bam, it's like a fire hose of information hits you right in the face. One person's telling you they made millions with no money down. Another's got these crazy complex spreadsheets. It's a lot. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're giving you a map. And that's the thing, isn't it? You've got gurus promising you can flip a house in 30 days, all this jargon flying around, and a dozen different strategies are all somehow the best one. Honestly, it's enough to make you just close the laptop and say forget it. So let's figure out where your first step actually should be.
So yeah, think of this little explainer as your personal GPS. We are going to chart a path, step by step, from being a total beginner to becoming a seasoned pro. And more importantly, we're going to highlight the exact YouTube mentors you should be watching at each stage of your journey.
Okay, first things first. Every great investor starts with a solid foundation. So if you're just starting out, forget about that giant 50-unit apartment building for now. Your first goal is way simpler, just understanding how to buy that very first property.
For stage one, these are your people. These are your go-to mentors. Creators like Graham, Stephan, and Meet Kevin, and also the great series on the financial diet. They are just fantastic at breaking down the absolute basics. They make real estate feel, well, accessible, especially when you're just getting your feet wet.
And that's their secret sauce, really. They make it feel real. They share their own stories, with titles just like this one from Graham. Their core lesson is often about using your first home, maybe by house hacking and renting out a room, as a launch pad. And all of a sudden, buying a rental property isn't some far-off impossible dream. It feels like a totally achievable first step.
So you've got the basics down. You know how it all works. Now it's time to learn the repeatable systems that actually build wealth. This is where you graduate from just buying a house to really thinking like an investor.
And for this stage, your go-to channels are the heavy hitters, BRRRR and Steph and Den. Think of them as powerhouses of practical, no-fluff knowledge. They offer these incredible deep dives into proven models, step-by-step deal analysis, and they interview investors who are out there doing it every single day.
BRRRR especially has become this absolute giant in real estate education. I mean, they're famous for popularizing these core strategies that have built countless rental portfolios, including one I'm sure you've heard of, the BRRRR method.
You see this acronym everywhere, right? It sounds kind of intense, but what does it actually mean? It might sound complex, but it's really just a simple, incredibly powerful system for growing your investments. Let's break it down real quick. Okay, so this method is a complete cycle, a loop. You buy a property that needs some work, you rehab it to add value, then you rent it out to get that cash flow coming in. But here's the magic step. You refinance it, pulling your initial investment back out. And that cash, that funds your next property, allowing you to repeat the whole process. It's a system literally designed for growth.
But what if you have all the knowledge, but you don't have that huge down payment for a traditional loan? Well, this is where things get really interesting. This is where creative finance comes in. It's definitely a more advanced path, but man, it can unlock deals that seem completely impossible otherwise.
The undisputed leaders in this space are creators like Pace Morby and Jamil Damji. They specialize in strategies that let you control property without ever having to talk to a bank. You'll hear them talking about Subject to, which is basically taking over a seller's existing mortgage, and wholesaling, where you get a property under contract and then sell that contract to another buyer.
And this right here, this is the fundamental shift in thinking. Traditional financing is all about asking a bank for money. Creative finance, it's about finding a seller with a problem. Maybe they need to move fast or they can't afford repairs, and you solve it for them. Their core lesson is that you're not in the house business, you're in the problem-solving business. And by solving their problem, you can often get into a deal with little to no money out of your own pocket. It's a game changer.
Okay, so you've learned the basics. You've mastered a core strategy. Maybe you've even done a creative deal or two. So what's next? Well, the final stage is all about scaling up, thinking bigger, and moving into much more complex investments.
And for this level of thinking, your primary mentor is going to be Brandon Turner. Now, you might know him as the former co-host of the BRRRR podcast, but his own channel, Open Door Capital, is focused entirely on large-scale commercial real estate.
This is where you graduate to buying entire apartment complexes. You'll start learning about syndication, which is just a fancy term for pooling money from other investors to buy a huge property, and how to raise the capital for these massive deals. This, my friends, is the big leagues of real estate investing.
So, we've mapped out the entire journey from making your very first offer all the way to buying an entire apartment building. Now, it's time to figure out exactly where you are on that map and take that all-important first step.
This chart lays it all out. This is your cheat sheet, so find yourself on this list. Are you the beginner who needs to start with the basics from Graham Stephan? Are you the strategist, ready to learn systems from Bigger Pockets? Maybe you're the creative, looking to master deals with Pace Morby. Or are you the scaler, ready to learn from Brandon Turner? Pinpoint your stage, and you'll know exactly where to start your learning.
The information is all out there. The mentors are waiting for you. So the only question left is the one you have to answer for yourself. Which path are you going to choose, and who is going to be your guide on this journey? Your real estate education starts right now.